This country needs to make explicit overtures to friends and genuine soulmates across the planet. I'm thinking principally of India, the biggest democracy in the world, with which we need serious economic, military ties, immigration ties, as close as you can get.
And in my opinion, most of all, I touched on, I was glad to see by Bill, the attempt in the fall of 2001, very underreported in our press, to blow up with a huge series of truck bombs the Parliament of India, the Lok Sabha in New Delhi, that represents, if you ever go and look at it in all its splendor, the true parliamentary consummation of a genuine multi-ethnic, multicultural, multi-religious democracy, based like ours on the rule of law, the English language, regular elections and the free market are, in my opinion, I submit, future closest ally, and a country with which we have a great duty of solidarity every now and then.
Pakistani terrorists detonated 3 bombs in the Indian city of Mumbai today, killing at least 10 people and injuring 50 more. The attack has been linked to a Muslim terrorist group based in Pakistan called the LET, which stands for Lashkar-e-Taiba, or Army of the Righteous. They always seem to give themselves names like that, don't they? They're always saying they're righteous when they're murdering innocent people, don't they? The LET terrorist group was founded in Afghanistan, but it's based in Pakistan. No surprise there. That's where Osama bin Laden was hiding. Hiding's a funny word, though, isn't it? I think it's pretty clear he was there with the knowledge and quiet complicity of elements of Pakistan's security police, the ISI. The LET terrorists is the same group that carried out the murder spree in Bombay 3 years ago that killed 164 people and injured more than 300, Bombay and Mumbai being the same city. At first, Pakistan denied any connection to the LET, but a year later they admitted that the LET plotted and financed their attacks from camps in the Pakistani cities of Karachi and Thatta. That's Pakistan for you, a solid ally. India and Pakistan are faraway places, but we have a Canadian connection. A Canadian citizen who came here from Pakistan named Tahawur Hussain Rana was prosecuted for his involvement in the Mumbai attacks. He beat that charge but was convicted of support for LET, and when he wasn't busy helping these terrorists, Rana was running an immigration consulting business, helping to bring his clients into Canada. Seriously. Now, there might be a tendency to think of Pakistani terrorists blowing up people in India as something that's got nothing to do with us. I mean, that's what Neville Chamberlain, the great appeaser of the 1930s, said to his fellow Brits when Hitler marched into Czechoslovakia. Here's his exact quote when people like worrywarts like Winston Churchill warned about the Nazi menace. Here's what Neville Chamberlain said. He said, "How horrible, fantastic, incredible it is that we should be digging trenches and trying on gas masks here because of a quarrel in a faraway country between people of whom we know nothing," unquote. Chamberlain said Czechoslovakia was unimportant. I bet Czechs disagreed with that, but surely few countries could be more important than India, the largest democracy in the world, the largest English-speaking country in the world, soon to exceed China in terms of outright population, a country that shares our British Commonwealth legacy, including the legacy of the rule of law and freedom. This isn't some foreign war between two nobodies. This isn't some fight in which we don't have a stake. India is our friend, an ally, a fellow liberal democracy, and like us, a pluralistic country where people of different religions coexist peacefully. The fact that there are over 1 million Canadians here who came from India is just more proof of our ties. But even if there wasn't a single Indian Canadian, even if we didn't have strong and promising trade ties with India, we would still be on their side because they're on the side of freedom and democracy and against tyranny and terror. They in India are fighting our fight. Do you doubt it? Well, ask the terrorists of the LET or Al-Qaeda or the PLO or Hamas or the Muslim Brotherhood or any of the dozens of jihadist groups out there. They all believe in the same goal, that the world will submit to a theocracy called the Caliphate. In the eyes of the LET terrorists, the world is split between two houses, Dar al-Islam, the House of Islam, and the House of, that's the House of Islam, the House of Submission, and Dar al-Harb, the House of War. We are no different in the eyes of the LET than any other non-believers. We're just like Bombay to them. And even Muslim liberals and Muslim Democrats and Muslim secularists, our friends like Tariq Fada and Rahil Raza, any Muslim who doesn't want to live in a theocracy is also regarded as an infidel, someone who lives in the house of war, Dar al-Harb, who has to be brought to heel. By the way, in case you haven't noticed, none of this has anything to do with Palestine. Muslim terrorists from Pakistan blowing up Hindus in India isn't about Palestine. It's not about George Bush. It's not about Danish cartoons. It's about getting unbelievers to submit. This is about liberty versus theocracy. It's about medieval preachers versus modernity. It's about pluralism versus uniform submission. These bombs blew up in Mumbai, but they were aimed just as much at us. As I said in my monologue, I think Canada and India have ties that go to our shared democracy, our shared British history, our shared belief in the plurality in a secular society, democracy, English language, bureaucracy. But we also have ethnic ties. Over 1 million Canadians are of South Asian descent. Joining me to talk about the Mumbai bombings today and Canada-Indian relations and many other things is a special guest today, Jason Kenney, the Minister of Citizenship and Immigration.
Well, it's important to understand Mumbai is a huge, thriving metropolis, a population of over 30 million. It's about the population of Canada in this amazing multicultural city, actually, because you've got people from all around India, all the different religions and cultures represented there, and frankly all around the world. It's a global hub, and that's precisely why the Islamicist extremists targeted Mumbai, the train station, the iconic Taj Hotel, as well, of course, as the tiny little Jewish community center run by a group called Chabad Lubavitch. I visited the Jewish synagogue there. I visited Chabad. I visited the Taj Hotel, and it made me sick to my stomach to see the kind of gory violence that had been wreaked on that city by these nut bars.
I think that India may be the key solution to a lot of this problem. I think they're our only truly reliable ally in Asia. Let me ask you this. Over the last 10 years, it has been in vogue in foreign affairs in Canada to suck up to China, to try and make deals with China, to have Team Canada trade missions to China. In my mind, India is the closer tie to our country in terms of shared democratic values and a shared war on terror. What do you think of my thesis that India is the real story of the 21st century?
Well, there is no doubt that India's values align with ours in so many ways. We are both Commonwealth countries with a shared British patrimony, and which means stable institutions rooted in the 1,000-year tradition of the Magna Carta, the rule of law, and a parliamentary democracy. We're both English-speaking countries. We both respect cultural diversity. I mean, people may think that India is kind of homogeneous culturally, but in fact, until recently they had a Muslim president. They have a Sikh prime minister. The governing party leader is a Catholic in a majority Hindu state. We actually have a lot. We should be humble when we look and think about India. We have a lot to learn from India. It's still a country emerging from, of course, huge poverty, and they have large social problems, but there is so much opportunity, part of which is the presence in Canada of over a million Canadians of Indian origin who are a natural human, commercial, and cultural bridge between the two countries. In fact, this year we're celebrating the Year of India in Canada. And I have to tell you, Ezra, the previous Liberal governments, for some inexplicable reason, froze and downgraded Canada-India relationships. The Canada-India relationship goes back to some incident in 1975 when the Indians, who wanted to protect their sovereignty from China and other neighbors, decided to develop a nuclear weapons program. And the Trudeau Liberals and their successors wagged their fingers at India and said, no, you don't. We're going to downgrade relations. Well, Stephen Harper has put that behind us. He signed a nuclear cooperation agreement with India, welcomed an Indian head of government to Canada for the first time in 35 years, multiple agreements, and now we are negotiating a Canada-India free trade agreement. There's been a huge wave of privatization, deregulation, and India is kind of moving in very quickly to the modern global free market economy. And so, you know, and also Canada is very privileged to be one of the only countries with whom India is negotiating a free trade agreement. So this is moving forward, and our solid commitment is to get it done within the next couple of years.